This week we're talking about the 2021 film Pig.
I'm looking for a truffle pig. Someone stole her.
I don't understand.
Tell him who you are.
You made the right choice, being out there in the woods. There's nothing here for you anymore. There's really nothing here for most of us. Buy yourself a new pig.
What are you thinking?
I remember every meal I ever cooked. I remember every person I ever served. You live your life for them, and they don't even see you. You don't even see yourself. We don't get a lot of things to really care about. Who has my pig?
Is there another movie called Pig?
I don't know.
Probably though, right?
Let me check.
There's probably like a whole subgenre of pig movies, like Charlotte's Web and
The one
spin-off
of
series.
Animal
Pig
Farm.
origin stories.
Animal Farm, which is I think my background. It's not from the movie. Just want to clarify that.
But it's an appropriate.
That's definitely from Babe.
Or Babe. Okay.
Babe,
I don't.
That's another pig movie. So many pig movies.
I will say the horror podcast I listen to, horror movie podcast, you should go check them out. The previous host, he loves pig-headed horror, and he made a whole episode about pig-headed horror.
Pig-headed horror.
I think they made an episode. I can't remember if they did or not, but he loves pig-headed horror. Like Saw, the guy wears a pig mask. All this. There's a whole well, I wouldn't consider it a subgenre, but he made it basically a subgenre.
A very niche subgenre.
A film called Motel Hell. They wear a pig mask, and you could do like Lord of the Flies with a pig head. There's a lot of things you could do. And I like Jesse. Your background's pretty good with the Naked Brothers band.
Just my favorite band. I will say, just to I guess kick off a little bit, but the whole time I know you had said Alex Wolff is in it, but I didn't really remember. And then I'm watching the movie and I'm like, who is that? And I think I remembered it was one of the Wolf brothers, but I thought I was thinking of Nat Wolff, and I kept being like, this doesn't look like him. He just doesn't look like that. Like, how is this him? And I was so confused for like half the movie, just thinking like, how is that Nat Wolff? But Alex Wolff.
Well, now it's Alex Wolff. He's been in a lot of things recently.
Hereditary, Jumanji, all these different.
He's the new old movie. He was in My Friend Dahmer.
Oh, right.
Wasn't
Nat in a lot of stuff first though?
I think so.
Like when he was older, I feel like he was the one you would see in movies as
because he's older. So Nat's older. So he was in more things. I think he was in more things when he was younger. But I think now Alex is more. I think Nat and Alex do a band together still. I think they play music together still. I think it's called Nat and Alex or something like that.
It's the Wolf Brothers.
Yeah.
I will say too, of the cast, don't know if it's the Khmer or what's going on, was getting Take the 10 vibes. Would love a Josh Peck plays Nicolas Cage's character, and Tony Revolori plays Alex Wolff character.
And maybe not a pig,
that not-
maybe like a chicken.
Yeah, that's fine. No one will even notice like that cast. But come on, Josh Peck, Tony Revolori. So I'm saying let's greenlight it.
I'm not opposed. Pig 2, Pig Origins.
Pig 2, the remake, less than a year later.
On that casting note, I think I love Alex Wolff. I think he's so good. I'm calling it right now. I think in the next couple of years he's going to win an Oscar.
For what?
I don't know, but
Predict
I think
the movie.
It's going to be an A24 movie.
All right.
I'm just calling it. So let's kind of venture back a little bit. So Joe picked this one. None of us have seen this. This came out. It's a very new movie. It's still in theaters, actually. I wish I did see it in theaters, but I was not able to. Joe, what were your thoughts since you were the one who chose it?
I mean, I partially heard about this just because I heard it was being filmed in Oregon and we all lived there. So that somehow came across my feeds and it kind of struck me when I saw the trailer, which, quick aside, like I dislike when trailers give too much away. I don't think they did that here, but they did give you enough of the plot where it kind of made me think that this was like John Wick, but with a pig instead of a dog. Which it was not. But I'm not disappointed about it. I think like I had heard about it and then, you know, I was interested enough because I feel like Nic Cage is a very polarizing actor because he takes a lot of risks and they don't always pay off. But I do respect the risk taking because like he did that one horror movie that was pretty. What was that called, Joe? Like
Mandy?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Where he's in the woods and he's like hunting down the demon cult.
Yep, that one. Like that's a
love
pretty
that
risky role to take. And then he's done like other things. I mean, like National Treasure is completely different than that. You know,
I'm just gonna
Ghost
cut you off
Rider,
real quick. How you're positioned, it looks like Nic Cage is staring at you, and you're like, he's like, make sure you give me a good review.
Like, what did you say?
Even if I'm sitting here, he.
Okay, sorry, continue.
But I actually really liked Nic Cage in this movie. Like I normally use him as the butt of a lot of jokes because I feel like some of those risks that I was talking about didn't pay off. I did not think he was good in like Ghost Rider. I even think National Treasure, while I like the movie, I think it's pretty cringy a lot of the times. I liked him in this. I thought, and also the movie wasn't about what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be John Wick, but with a pig instead of a dog. It was really a story about like love, loss, and then like coping. And so I liked it a lot more than like, I didn't really know what to expect. I was mostly just interested in it because it seemed so different. But I enjoyed it. Like it was one of those ones that you can probably go as deep as you want to. It wasn't, I don't know if I'd call it like a happy movie, but it was a good movie, if you ask me. I don't know how you guys felt, but that's kind of what I walked away. I walked away like feeling like I wanted to watch it again because there's probably more I could pick up on.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask when Nic Cage became the like Nickelback of actors.
I don't know, man.
Like,
I mean,
when did that happen?
I want to say
like,
Vampire's
he's
Kiss.
good, but it's like cool to hate him and say he's bad. You know, like
people love him.
Nickelback.
Like he's literally like like he's got a cult following. Like he is like a cult movie following. Like, but it's a person. Like I love Nic Cage. Like I think he's great. Like, and I like when he's good in his movies, and I also like when he's ridiculous in his movies. And he's just like a likable person. I feel like even like Kick-Ass, he doesn't have a big role, but it's like he's just funny in that movie.
I kind of like respect the like diversity of roles he takes.
Yeah,
like,
totally. 100%.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I think I read this and I knew this before because I watched a few interviews with Alex Wolff, but I guess Nic Cage is his favorite actor. So he was like, all he wanted to do was act with him in a movie. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Real quick, because you brought up Pig. Have you worked with Nic Cage yet? Or is it still coming?
Yes.
You've done it?
Yeah, we just worked together. Alex was a really good guy to work with. I just found him. He's the best. And he's my favorite actor, and he's one of my inspirations as an artist, as a person, and he's become one of my best friends in the world. He just, like, FaceTimed me 2 nights ago. We had such a great time. We had such a good time in this movie. I can't even tell you.
What was it like first time you met him? Walking in and meet a guy like that, his reputation precedes him. You're a huge fan of his. That first moment when you're meeting Nic Cage.
Well, the cool thing is we were both getting awards at Toronto, and it was like the ideal way to meet him. It was right before the movie, and I saw him, and he was in a cowboy hat, and I started tearing up, and I started shaking, and I went up to him, and I just said, "Okay, you have to know this before we start working together. You're my favorite actor." And I said, "I've seen every single one of your movies. I was like, Vampire's Kiss, did all this stuff. And then I was like, Deadfall." He's like, "You've seen Deadfall?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Wow, okay." I was like, "Yeah, I just love you." And then he liked that. And then in my speech for the awards that the movie got, I said that one of the main inspirations for me was Leaving Las Vegas and Raising Arizona adaptation to even start acting. So, and Family Man was a huge inspiration for me as a kid. So
I went into this thinking, well, I heard it mentioned a few times, like people had recommended it, and for a lot of people, it was like the first movie they went and saw, since the pandemic, and they were like, I mean, everyone was like, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a truffle hunter's pig goes missing, and he goes to the city to track him down. I mean, it's got to be good, right? I mean, Nic Cage chose to do this, like. It's got to be good.
I don't know if Nic Cage choosing anything means anything.
Yeah, no, I think it was like Mark Maron or someone. He was like, he read the script and was like, hey, I'll spend my time doing this. So, but it was, I mean, Nic Cage was really good in it. And I think the parts I didn't like about the movie were like, there were some parts that were so bizarre. I was just like, I couldn't get over the fact how bizarre it was. But because it was a Nic Cage movie, I actually was okay with those parts, because I was like,
going back to what we just talked about.
That's what I mean. I was like, but it's like a Nic Cage movie. So there are some bizarre parts that I almost enjoy having. Like, but yeah, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it would be horrible, but I just was like, oh, this will be fun. And it was a good movie. Nice hour and a half. Perfect length, never really dragged on.
I did feel like it was slowly paced. Like everything that was said felt deliberate, but not like just like rambling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think like I loved the length, and it was slow, but it didn't seem slow to me. Like I think it was well paced in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think so for me, I liked this movie a lot. And it was nothing what I was expecting. Like Joe, you were saying, like John Wick. I was expecting like violent, like killing everybody and all this stuff. But no, it's a love story. It's almost like a beautiful love story in a weird way. I think this goes with my hatred for short titles, but I do not like the title of the movie. I think they could have called it something else. Like I don't like movie Old. I didn't like the title of Old. I love the movie Us, but I don't like the title.
It's easy to say it though for short title. Like they say pig all the time.
That's true. They did say the title a lot in the movie.
Wasn't Alex Wolff an Old too?
Yep, he was an Old.
I was gonna say, will that be Oscar nominated? Will he get?
No, okay. He wasn't in it long enough. Well, I can't say that because Anthony
wasn't.
Hopkins he was in like total of 9 minutes or something for Silence of the Lambs, and he won. So can't say length, but yeah, I thought this was great though. I thought it brought me back to Portland. I was also expecting he was going to be like in the woods the whole time. I didn't expect so much downtown time, which was awesome. I thought that the city life was pretty cool, like the restaurants and just being from like living in Portland. Like it was kind of cool to see it again, and especially like because I feel like Portland's not really shown in movies a lot, so it's kind of fun to see that. And I also thought like Alex Wolff's character was so funny to me because I feel like a drug dealer type in Portland is weird because it's not like a classy city. It's not like a rich and uppity city. I feel like for like a drug dealer with a Camaro, like
so he's a truffle dealer.
I know, but it's
how familiar were you guys with truffles before?
None whatsoever.
I
mean, a little bit, but enough
chocolate
where
truffles?
this movie didn't teach me anything. But
I'm familiar with chocolate truffles.
I just the only thing I really knew about truffles is like if you go to the grocery store, you'll see that they're in like a lockbox because they're just they're really valuable. So like but I don't necessarily understand why. I don't even know that I've ever had that kind of a truffle, but Apparently,
Yeah.
people love him. I don't know.
I
Oh,
love
how
the
so?
I loved the Oregonian vibe. Like I think I just mentioned that, but Portland. I love like the trees. I love when movies do and show that. Like when you have it's the Pacific Northwest. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, the like
I did
dark,
love
dark green.
Yeah, like I just think of The Shining. It's I
Mm-hmm.
just love that vibe.
Yeah.
And it's cool
got to
because I
see
feel like
that
they're all
cool
sorry.
underground fight club under Pioneer Square we used to go to. That was like the only place I recognized. I was like, I remember that.
Was that where that was?
Yeah.
Pioneer Square?
It was supposed to be under Pioneer Square.
Oh.
He said like,
interesting.
there was a place and then they built Pioneer Square, but the place still existed under it.
I loved it. It was great.
Was it in those tunnels though? Do you know what I'm talking
Shanghai
about? I don't think
tunnels?
yeah.
No, those are too small, like narrow.
No, there's no opening up parts.
And they wouldn't. Yeah, it was way too big to be the Shanghai tunnels, unless there's a part that we didn't see. So I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Maybe they were just holding
Not
out
a lot
for
of people saw this Fight Club part, but
I will say one of my favorite lines in this movie was I can't remember what the context was, but then it's very Portland of them when he says "F- Seattle."
Yeah.
He's like, "You gonna move up to Seattle?" And Nic Cage is like, "F- Seattle." I love that
Yeah.
so much.
Did you have that rivalry going on?
Mhm.
It's funny.
Yeah. Did you guys
I
have
think-
any like favorite moments?
I think my favorite moment, yes, is the answer. I think my favorite moment is when they were sitting and having that really deep talk with it was Amir and Nic Cage's character talking with a restaurant owner. And basically he says something along the lines of like, we don't get a lot in life to care about. And like, I feel like that summarizes the whole movie in a way that like I didn't get from the trailer. It's just like, like Amir cared and his dad cared about, mother, wife that died, and he cares about his pig. He's like, you don't get a lot to care about. So like care about those things. I just felt like that was probably the most meaningful moment in the entire movie.
They're not real. You get that, right? None of it is real. The critics aren't real. The customers aren't real. Because this isn't real. You aren't real.
Okay.
Derek, why do you care about these people? They don't care about you. None of them. They don't even know you. Because you haven't shown them. Every day you'll wake up and there'll be less of you. You live your life for them and they don't even see you. You don't even see yourself. We don't get a lot of things to really care about.
I thought
Again,
the mom
unexpected.
would play more into it too.
Yeah.
Who was like on life support that he visited.
Yeah.
And then they kind of used it to just reference that meal at the end, but like that was it.
Mhm.
Also, okay, hold up though. He lives in the woods. He doesn't have a shower because Amir asks him if he wants the shower.
Yeah.
So that's where we're starting at. He gets beat with a cast iron pan. He's bleeding out. He has dry blood everywhere. He just goes like not at one point in the movie does he wash his face or clean himself until the end
That's not true. Yeah.
when
at
he
the end.
sits in the river and goes, and that's the extent. But
He takes off his gloves. He washes his hands, almost like he's washing his hands.
fingerless gloves.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, that was definitely intentional because he didn't want to wash his face the whole movie because he's trying to get past this whole thing. And then once, the ending's kind of resolved, he's like, okay, I can cleanse myself and clean myself.
Well, no, I get that, but I'm saying like he goes to Portland's finest restaurant and he smells horrible. And they don't like, I would get it if he was sitting there and they knew who he was already, but he's just going to sit there and then they're going to discover who he is. And then he's making that dinner at the end and all Rich I watched it with Rich and all he could say was, he was like, he smells so bad. Like, how could you be sitting there? It's been days and
That's true.
Still just dried blood. His beard is full of the blood.
I love that.
Portland
I-
grunge, I guess.
I found it interesting
You
that
get to
like
blend in.
but seriously, I found it interesting that like he was a chef, like like it's like he knew the that cook of that restaurant or the head chef or whatever he was, but like he had this like after we figured that out, it was kind of like it made sense because he had. I feel like chefs like do have like this charisma where they're like, oh, I'm good at what I do, and like I don't know, Nic Cage had this charisma about him where he's like clearly he walked in that restaurant, smelling like shit and looking like shit, but he's like I don't care because I know what I'm good at, and I don't know because he knew everybody, everyone knew him. I feel like he was like a guy who previously knew, and then his wife died, and then he isolated himself.
What do you guys think about, because like one of the things that made me realize, or at least led me to believe he had some capacity in the kitchen pretty early on, is like they were naming the parts after meals. And like, I think the first one, they like said like, part one, I forget the name of it, but it was a meal. And then he was cooking. And like, on the one hand, he's living by himself. So like, I guess you got to eat, but like he seemed like he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I think he obviously chose that life. So I assume he kind of, I mean, obviously it wasn't the best living situation, but he knew what he was getting himself into. He's not an idiot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. I think my favorite scene or favorite moment, I guess, from the whole movie was when he stole the bike. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
He like grabs it in the kids and he's like, oh,
He's just
I thought that was my favorite part.
There was so many. I mean, this movie was full of just scenes I thought would turn into more that didn't. Like this entire movie was like that to me. Like every time, or like when he went to his old house with the kid, I thought it was going to turn into something. When he went to his old like restaurant, that's now the bakery, or whatever his old place was, that's now the bakery, and who that person really was, I like thought it would maybe turn into something. Like every time I was like, "Ooh, here's a new part of the story," and it's just like, no.
I kind of loved it.
Still on the main.
I kind of loved it because it's kind of like, in a way, it's almost like a Nic Cage character, like holding back from something he would normally do. Like he was like, he just got all this rage. He's like, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm just gonna walk away. Like it's like a mental character in his head where he's like, okay, I play all these crazy characters. Let me try something new where my crazy character actually doesn't act on anything crazy.
Yeah.
Then I am still waiting for a movie to showcase like the Timberland Lodge a little more, like just to hint at it, give like a little Shining reference, like not obviously the big shot, but like maybe like I wish this would have been a perfect movie for that. I feel like he could have gone like, even if it was like a little shot of him walking up, I think that would have been really fun and subtle. Like if you're in Portland, you got to shoot at the Timberland Lodge.
I think in the same scene that they fuck Seattle, they talked about going to Hood.
Yeah, you're right.
But they didn't actually show Timberline Lodge.
Because he was living in Mount Hood essentially, right?
Somewhere in the forest. I don't think they ever specify, do they?
No, but the Skyline Diner is in Mount Hood.
There you go.
That's
an insider detail right there.
Yep. I don't think we've been there though. I mean, I've driven past it, but I don't know. Dude, now I'm so excited to go to these locations.
Yeah, you got to go to some of these.
Oh my God, yeah, I'll be there in October.
It's awesome.
Oh, dude, am I gonna be the first pig location hunter?
I hope so. Find a truffle.
No, I'm scared if I find a truffle, then the guy who owns it or girl who owns it is gonna come and kill me.
I did
Cowboys.
I read something that apparently the director said, Michal Sarnoski, but something like because these pigs and dogs that sniff out truffles are so valuable because truffles are so expensive for whatever reason, that they'll like sleep on their front porch with like a shotgun. So like I'd be pretty nervous going around looking for.
Jeez. So this is pretty legit.
Looking for pigs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how real that is, but like, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be that severe.
You guys remember that pig that used to show up on Division a lot early on? You think that was a truffle pig? Or you think he was he's just a city pig?
So for context, there was a pig that you know, a lot of times people would be eating outside and like sitting at tables on the sidewalk and stuff. And some people would like bring their dog to eat dinner or whatever. And somebody brought a pig quite frequently. So
Yeah, I mean, it would just be like lunchtime and he'd be having a coffee and there'd be this pig tied to the tree. Just like,
yeah, it was very odd, but
No, this is
also
so interesting
very,
now.
very Portland.
Yeah. Interesting. This is opening up my perspective on pigs.
Maybe there's truffles under that tree. Maybe he picked the tree.
Ooh, maybe.
the guy's just getting coffee and he's like, no, man, this.
It's right here.
It's right here.
Now, okay, explain the truffle pick to me. Like, I kind of understand what it does, but like,
So
what is give me the background.
mushroom hunting is like, it's a thing. People do it all over the place, but Oregon's a particularly good place to do because of the moisture and all that. But the people train dogs and pigs to sniff out these mushrooms because it's easier to sniff them out. I think they're actually like slightly underground. Like
Yeah, I mean, you saw when he had his knife at the beginning, he like scooped it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
right.
they're hard to find. I think that's part of what makes them so expensive is because they're very rare.
Gotcha.
But like, you know, if you have an animal with a very good nose who's trained to find them, that's a very valuable skill. And if you have that good relationship like Nic Cage does with his pig, you know, you can make that work and a pretty good.
And they live a while, right? Pigs live a long time? Or no?
I don't know. I'm not
I
sure.
don't think of something else. I know pigs, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone told me that like pigs have like, they're like an animal with some of the biggest like emotions. Like they can actually feel like emotions. So I feel like they're almost not human, but like they have very similar emotions that we feel, apparently. So
Interesting.
it makes it sadder when you hear them squeal.
Yeah, that does. I did hate that part where
I know.
like, when he was attached and all you could hear was the pig squealing.
Pig squealing is such like it makes me like uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like it.
Yeah.
It's like a kid or a baby squealing.
Exactly.
You know.
Mhm.
Also, we learned, spoiler in the end, Nic Cage didn't need that pig to hunt truffles. Trees told him where to go.
This is true.
That's why it's a
learned
love
this whole
story.
time.
Screw the truffles. He just loves the pig.
He just loved the pig.
Did he have a name? Did the pig have a name? Or was it just pig?
I can't
I don't think so. I don't think it had a
Yeah.
name.
I want to say it did, but yeah, I can't.
I do have a question about the end. So he's kind of resolved there at the end. Like he goes back, he's accepted it. You can see like he plays the cassette tape that he wouldn't before. Major Guardians of the Galaxy vibes there. But like the dude's got to be kind of old, right? I'm just wondering like what the rest of his life looks like. Cause like sometimes I kind of was left with the thought that like he didn't have a lot to live for at that point.
Right.
So like, does he die?
I don't
You know?
know.
I
I don't think
so.
so.
I think-
No.
Yeah, I think he truffle hunts and he's got his buddy Amir coming Thursday.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I get what you're saying though. Like I didn't think about that until you just brought that up. And it's now like I think about it, I could see that, but I don't think he
Like I got the impression when he was going, even though he said, I'll see you Thursday, I didn't
Yeah.
think that was like I thought that was just like putting a bow on their relationship and being like, you know, we'll see you Thursday.
right.
But like he was going back to the woods to just like,
Yeah. It's weird,
die.
yeah, because like the pig was basically essentially the last thing in his life that meant something, I feel like.
right.
But
and
I
that's-
took it as like the pit, like he couldn't listen to the tapes at the beginning, you know? And so I took it as kind of like he loved this pig because he still never really dealt with his wife's death. And so like he kind of was channeling it through having this other thing he loves. And then he finally at the end, when the pig, you know, he doesn't have the pig anymore, but he
Mhm.
goes home and he plays that tape that he's finally like come to terms with her death and he can like now live by himself, but with her, like with her memory rather than needing it. So he's more like at peace.
I like
with
that
that.
ending better than the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I like that
Well,
too.
and then he kills himself.
I didn't even think he would have killed himself. I think he just would have like had nothing to live for. Like sometimes
passed away.
like if you have a couple that's like married together for like, you know, like 70 years or whatever, and they're super old, like if one of them goes, typically the other one goes very soon after. And like, that's kind of how I felt might play. That's how I thought it might
Oh.
play out. It's just like he had no reason to live. Therefore his body would just like kind of like shut down. Cause
Interesting. Now I'd be curious. Did they? I don't know if they explained it or not. I can't remember, but how he came about the pig. Like, so clearly his wife died, and then he moved out to the woods. And then what happened? Was there like did he find the pig? Did he do it on purpose? Like, was there an explanation for that or not? I can't remember.
He probably bought a truffle pig.
Okay.
I'm assuming.
I guess you need to make money.
I think he
somehow.
clearly went out to do truffles and like he knew truffles. And I'm also
Okay.
assuming like that is one thing he loves.
Because
And
he
like
cooks.
actually cares for.
So he's aware of that.
well, from being a chef, probably, right?
Right. This
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he probably dealt with truffles in whatever he cooked. You know, like I feel like truffles was probably a main thing, especially in Portland. That is huge in
Mhm.
the culinary world, but like very much to him, he probably was like an
Right.
expert before he went wilderness. At least I would assume. And so I'm assuming he kind of like went out and was like, I'll just live out here and hunt truffles. And maybe he bought a truffle pig, or maybe at some point he needed a companion.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming he got a truffle pig and then he learned fast that like he was like, I actually don't need this pig, but
I do
love this
like
pig.
I like that I think I liked how this movie wasn't what we thought it was going to be because you know, we thought it was going to be this just like batshit Nicolas Cage movie, but I think he actually had some depth with his character and he actually like was a serious character. And I think he played it really well, first of all, but then like he wants people to take him seriously. I feel like, I mean, people do take him seriously, but I feel like this was kind of a role where it's like, hey, I can actually still do dramatic acting.
Yeah. And
That's
I'd
kind of what I
say he
took
nailed
away
it.
from it. Yeah, I agree. With that said, do you guys want to go into some ratings?
Yeah. Do.
Because we kind of talked about locations a little bit. I don't know if you want to do that a little more or not. Because we
I mean, just being that this movie's so new, like, I mean,
yeah.
a lot of it's shot in Portland. I don't think we have any in the app yet, but like,
No, but we'll get there
but
because
we will, yeah.
from living there we recognize some areas which is really cool, like that painted building, that funky building on MLK, or was it Grand? I can't remember.
Yep.
And I want to go to that graveyard and I don't know where that is. That might be. I was thinking Mount Tabor, maybe. I don't know. It kind of looks like Mount
Maybe.
Tabor, but I'll do some research.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I think we're good to go on to ratings.
Cool.
You want to kick us off?
Sure. I kind of reiterating what I said earlier. I like this movie a lot. Not what I expected. Nic Cage was great. Alex Wolff was great. Length was great. Speaking of length, a little fun fact here. Apparently the original cut was over 2 hours, which I'd be really curious to see because what else could they show? You know, I guess like more of an origin, but I don't know. I thought the length was perfect.
But then they fired Zack Snyder, hired Michael Sarnoski, and
released the Snyder cut. Yeah, I mean, we kind of just went over everything, all my feelings about it. I thought the cinematography is great. It looked grainy, which is kind of fun. The coloring was great. Music was fun. I'm gonna bump it up. I was at a 7.5, but I'm gonna go 8. 8 Doug furs.
Ooh.
Doug furs.
Because I love drone shots of Doug furs because it looks beautiful. And I love that Nic Cage, he reminded me of Michael Myers from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in this movie. They look very similar with the beard, the long hair, and like the big coat. I love that because in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Jesse, I know you haven't seen it. He's kind of like a homeless person. He looks like a homeless woodsman, which is exactly what this is. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go 8 Doug furs.
Doug Fur Lounge.
I wish there was 8 Doug fur lounges around the country, but
All I remember is going to Doug Fur Lounge during Burger Week. They didn't have a burger, so Joe called I'm even blanking on another place, like the only place that still had a burger, and we walked all the way there, and it was like 40 minutes, and then we got there, and they were like, "We don't have burgers left."
I remember that. Yeah.
And
They
we were
like
like,
just sold
"What?"
out or something. Yeah.
We called. We talked to Victor. Where's Victor?
So funny.
Also one little more fun fact I read. Apparently this is Nic Cage's highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
It was like a 97 the other
it was,
day. when
it
we
was
checked.
very highly rated. Yeah.
So cool. Who wants to go?
I am going to go with an 8.25 for a lot of the same reasons. Like I loved the way it looked. I loved the story. I just liked it. What?
But not 8.3.
8.25.
Also, like, how am I gonna give this the highest rating? I feel like listening to this, it was like, oh, they'll say it's really good. I was doing a thing like Joe though, where I was like either an 8 or an 8.5, and then I was like, I'm in a good mood. I'll go 8.5.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go.
sticking with it. I said 8.25, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Joe can't go for numbers or half.
So these guys hate this movie clearly, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. It's still a Nic Cage movie to me. It did not break out of that for me, but I think it's also like it works. It helps that it's a Nic Cage movie to me. Again, I would like to see the Josh Peck, Tony Revolori remake. Would really enjoy that. But Alex Wolff's character also I loved. I thought that was such a great character.
I was like, am I growing that stash like his? Should I get thicker eyebrows?
I think
You
that
should get the little mole.
Should I just become Alex Wolff?
Yeah, I think so. But it was really fun. It was again a Nic Cage movie to me, but a really good Nic Cage movie.
Yeah.
Like possibly the best Nic Cage movie.
Okay.
Not the best movie Nic Cage has been in, but the best
Nic Cage,
quote unquote Nic Cage movie. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's fun, surprising, fun, good story. I liked some of the weirdness and bizarreness in it. I just had to take it with it. So 8.5.
Let's go.
I love it. You're just going 8.5, like no second decimal place.
No second decimal place. 8.50. 8.50. Yeah. Cassette tapes.
Nice.
There you go.
To your point, I really like, I guess to both your points, I really enjoyed, I think what I liked about the story was the fact that it's such a simple story, but like they added so much, like the underground fight club, like that's so random, but it works and weirdly really well. It works so well. It shouldn't, because like what is
Even
the point of this? But
that other character, the guy who like runs that, who he goes to see, is like not a real person character. Like he seems like he'd be in some like mystical movie or something.
Right.
Like
exactly. Even Alex Wolff's dad, like a drug lord or something. I mean, he wasn't, but like he just had that vibe. Like it doesn't make any sense, but
Portland
it works.
drugs, man.
Drugs.
I would, or if they like made fun of Portland a little more, and like instead of cassette tapes, he had like home recordings pressed onto vinyl of his wife that he was playing or something.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Or like as they're going to the restaurant, they stop for a record store. Just throw some random stuff.
I mean, I don't know. The cassette dude is pretty retro. It's pretty hipster.
Yeah, maybe we're passing vinyl. We're going back to cassettes.
People are doing that, dude. The Halloween soundtrack, the new one, they're releasing it on cassette.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty cool, actually. I mean, not that I would ever buy a cassette player or have one, but cheats their own, right?
I'd love cassette. They're so much easier. I mean, you can't be like the audiophiles who are like, it just sounds better on vinyl, man. I don't know if anyone's like, it just sounds better on cassettes.
Definitely not cassettes. Vinyl, I can see it sounding better, but not cassettes.
That nice.
I do want to read. There was a user comment to this movie that I want to read.
Ooh,
very
exciting.
It's from the Film Tripper. I don't know her real name, but that's her Instagram/Twitter name. So go check her out. She's new into the movie location at the Film Tripper. And she has a blog, but I think it's down right now. I think she's working on it. So at the Film Tripper says, Nic Cage had like 10 lines the whole movie and he acted the shit out of them. And I agree with that. I think he did act the
Yeah.
shit out of all of his scenes and lines. So
He did.
That was one of the things that I found the most interesting, is because like, as much as like the length was perfect and the pacing was not too fast, but not fast. I feel like a lot of the communication happened through like his facial expressions, acting, and like I just think he crushed that.
he's such a good character actor. Like he is like, you know how like Ryan Gosling he's got those eyes that you can like act with no words. Like Nic Cage can do that too, which I love.
I think I'll make the prediction right now. That scene that Joe mentioned earlier of him talking to the chef, being like, we don't get a lot of things we care about. That whole spiel. I feel like that could be a like whatever 2-minute clip that's like cut and is on YouTube by itself and gets like 40 million views. And then you start seeing everyone's like mom sharing it on Facebook of like, you know, being like, yeah, you know, like remember, like kids are going off to college. Remember, kids, you get one thing you care about. I think it could be one of those clips in the future.
Yeah, I could see that. Do you want to get into movie news?
Sure.
Yeah.
Candyman comes out on the 27th of August. Pretty excited about that one.
Candyman.
Nia DaCosta's Candyman, produced by Jordan Peele, the one and only, the legend. Speaking of Jordan Peele, I've been watching Hot Ones. I've never seen it before, and I've been rewatching like all the Hot Ones.
Uh-huh.
So, and they've been so funny. Like I was just watching the Jordan Peele, whatever his name is. Keegan Michael Key and Jordan Peele. They were on it. They were on it together, and it's so funny. Like it was right when Keanu was coming out, and they're just so funny. Like they just like vibe off each other so well, and I just really want to go back and rewatch Key and Peele because they're hysterical.
I just listened to
yeah, I just watched Elijah Wood, and he is. I say this over and over again. I love him. He loves cinema. He loves movies. He opened a horror movie production company called Spectre Vision, and he is in Lord of the Rings. He's like if I was in a multiverse, that would be me. I am Elijah Wood. I respect the hell out of that guy.
Sean Evans is one of the best interviewers in the game.
Okay, hot take. I really enjoy his interview style, and I think he's really good at asking questions. But I don't know what it is. It might be his eyebrow that goes like this. There's something about him that I don't like. I think it's he doesn't open his mouth all the way.
He's the best interviewer out there, man.
But maybe how he talks. I don't know. It's weird. Something bothers me about him. Although I don't get me wrong, I would love to meet him and hang out with him.
Hot takes. Shots fired. Sean Evans. Let's Hollywood hot takes.
Maybe I'll cut that out. Just so I was gonna say maybe I'd take that out just so he doesn't hear that, and then he wouldn't bring us on the show.
No, man, this is all the beef is good. Okay. As long as you didn't, like truly insult him. You were like, yeah, he's like the best at everything he does. I just hate his eyebrow.
Yeah.
Not even eyebrows, just his one eyebrow.
And that's the thing. I think he's good at what he does. Like I'm giving him props. Something about his eyebrow.
Talking Key and Peele too. I was listening to Keegan Michael Key on a podcast, and they were talking about writing the Key and Peele show, and like at the beginning, the writing period, and like I'll send you the clip though, but it's really interesting just because he talks about Jordan's writing style from the get-go, even sketches, and like how the way he writes, and they had like this like huge crazy 4-month writing period before they even had pre-production for the show, and like just like how genius of a writer he was, obviously, before he even went into horror.
Huh. I would love to see that. Wait, cool. So who is it interviewing him?
It was Keegan. Keegan was on, I think it was Mike Birbiglia's podcast.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was okay, dude. I would love to
Keegan talking about Jordan. Yeah,
I love that. All about that. Jordan Peele's like my Bowfinger, which that was the reference, but I gotta sneak Jordan Peele in there. Remake. Jordan Peele remake. Yeah. I was gonna say that'd actually be super interesting with Keegan Michael Key as Eddie Murphy's character. I could see it
too. Trying to think if there's anything else.
I know. I don't.
I did watch 10 Things I Hate About You.
Me too, actually. Weird.
Too weird.
Tune in next week.
Sneak
Started The
preview.
White Lotus.
Do you like that?
Great TV series. Yeah,
It's getting a lot of buzz.
it's really good. I didn't even think it would be that good, and it's really good.
Is that Steve Zahn, right?
I don't know.
The main guy. Well, I have never seen it, but
The
the,
main-
poster it looks like Steve Zahn, so I don't know.
Oh,
Let's
maybe
see.
it is. It is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's one of the. Yeah,
Also underrated.
I wouldn't
actor.
say he's like the main guy, but he's hilarious in it. He's so good in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Steve Zahn. What a name.
That's a great name. Great name. Great actor. Love it. I just think of Daddy Daycare because he's so good in that movie.
And what's the best actor name out there? You know, like if your name's Steve Zahn,
I know it's a
You're-
pretty good name.
you're like a
Maybe it's not a real
you're a
name. He
big
might have
name.
changed it, but yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. You know, you're not just like guy working the front counter, Steve Zahn.
I mean, Nick Cage is pretty good.
Nick, who also, I mean, we brought it before. He's a Coppola.
I know. Those are.
Steve Zahn.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like that. I think about movie titles too. Like, we should do an episode of like our favorite movie titles or something, or like a segment. Because like there's some really good movie titles out there.
Like
that
Bowfinger.
Oh,
Bowfinger pretty good.
Bowfinger.
Like I think like
I'll-
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is such a good title for a movie.
pretty horrible. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And I think La La Land is one of the most creative titles ever. I think there's so many good ones.
You're a big La La fan. La La.
Do you know what's funny? I've
La
only
La
seen that
Land.
movie like twice or once. I just think it's like I loved it, but I'm not a huge Emma Stone fan, so that's what I took away from it was I didn't like it as much because of her. But then I love the idea of it. Like I think it's done well. I think it's real. This isn't a La La Land review. We'll have to pick that at some point.
We just launched into an hour of La La Land.
We're like, okay, La La Land.
Surprise you
locations.
guys! I'm doing a review, a sole review of La La Land right now. So well, cool. Is that about it, you guys? Then anything
I
else?
think that's all I got. I don't have too
I'm
much.
seeing Nick Cage. His birthday is the day before mine.
Yeah.
My birthday eve is Nick Cage Day. This is great news.
I'm gonna watch.
Speaking
Pig
of
the day
speaking
before
of
your birthday.
birthdays, speaking of birthdays, it was Paul Anka's birthday a couple weeks ago, and he released a new album. So go check that out. It's called Making Memories. It's pretty dope.
Guy's like a fine wine.
He literally is a fine wine. That's a great way to describe him. As a fine wine. But cool. Well, that's a wrap then.
Pig.